He has been under sharp criticism for his anti-government protest and action against the government wanting the cost of living to be lowered. And of course, his critics has taken issues with that. Some criticize him of his involvement and they think this could be yet another one theatrics too many from the comedian. Tonight on our big question we ask, activist or comedian? Of course, Eric OMONDI will be in the house to clear the air on that particular issue. And plus many more, and this, our reporters, of course, have been working round the clock to bring you up to speed with the latest development here in Kenya and across the board. But first thing first, here is what to expect in the next 50 minutes or so. Tour of development. President William Ruto launches the construction of Mwache Dam in Kwale. President tells Azimio as his deputy opposes any possible handshake. Azimio unveil its lineup ahead of bipartisan talks with Kenya Kwanza in Parliament over IEBC selection panel. A pupil at Bitungusi Primary School in Nyamira County nurses injuries after receiving strokes of cane from his teacher. Many thanks for joining us tonight. Of course, I'm not alone. I'm in the company of Evans ODHIAMBO as our sign language interpreter tonight. Remember, we invite your comment and feedback on this particular broadcast. You can talk to us on all of our social media platforms, on Facebook at KUTV Kenya, on Twitter at KUTV_Kenya, at AU_012. Remember to use the hashtag Primetime News. And our Primetime News begins right now. President William Ruto has today toured Kwale County where he launched the construction of Mwache Dam. The president, who was accompanied by political leaders and government officials, stated that the completion of the project will enable farmers to grow enough food. KUTV's Joseph Kess reports on a day that President also toured Nyandarua County where he presided over the conversion of roads into bitumen standards.
President William Ruto has today launched the construction of the Mwache Dam project in Fulugani, Kwale County. The 18 billion project, which has been delayed for more than 3 years now, is set to be complete in another 3 years.
Na imechelewa karibu miaka mitano kwa sababu tulikuwa tumekubaliana ya kwamba kazi yetu ya kutoka 2017 tulikuwa tumeorodhesha karibu dams 50 ambazo tulikuwa katika mipango yetu ya kujenga, lakini tulipata matatizo kidogo kwa sababu ya yale mambo mnajua.
President Ruto says that government is firm in its commitment to complete the construction of dams which are under construction and that it is planning to construct additional dams.
In 2017 sasa tumeongezea, imekuwa dams 100 zile kubwa katika Kenya. Moja yao ni damu hii ya Mwache. Tutakuwa na damu zingine ndogo inaitwa micro dams 1000 na tutakubaliana na viongozi wa hapa Kwale, kati ya hizo 1000 zile za Kwale karibu 10 ama 20 zitakuwa wapi.
Ruto has also stated that the most viable method of ensuring food security is through agriculture and that the government is set to increase the hectares of land under irrigation.
Tumekubaliana kama taifa ya kwamba tunataka kuongeza ardhi ambayo tunatumia kwa kuzalisha chakula. Leo tuko na ardhi ekari 1670. Ndani ya miaka mitatu tunataka kuongeza maradufu. Hiyo ardhi ifike 1.2 million acres.
Kwale County leaders led by Kinango MP Gonzi Rai have urged the government to give the residents the first priority in employment of workers under the project. President Ruto has also toured parts of Nyandarua County, where he joined Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and other leaders allied to the Kenya Kwanza coalition, where he launched the construction of a number of roads. Joseph Kess, KUTV.
Now, President Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua have stressed that the government is prepared to protect the property of Kenyans from destruction in Azimio if Azimio resumes protest. The duo warned Azimio supporters against destroying both public and private properties, saying that culprits will meet the full force of the law. Our very own Edward Nyamu now reports.
While addressing the residents of Nyandarua, President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua have stated that issues raised by opposition leaders will be handled in parliament. According to President Ruto, Kenyans should not be subjected to demonstrations on issues that can be addressed in parliament.
Ni kule bunge, twende tuongee maneno ya viongozi kule bunge. Hakuna haja ya kuharibu biashara ya mwananchi. Hakuna haja ya kusumbua wananchi wakiwa katika biashara zao. Hakuna haja ya kulete vita. Hakuna haja ya kulete fujo.
President Ruto, however, stressed that the government will not be intimidated with the threats from the Azimio team, who have made several proposals that are not sitting too well with the government side.
Munasema tupange maandamano ama maendeleo? Munasema tupange maandamano ama maendeleo? Wale watu wa kuzimia baada hawajasikia ni maandamano ama maendeleo? Nafikiri wamesikia.
Deputy Rigathi, on the other hand, in his statement, reiterated that the government can only have discussions within the confines of the law, asking the opposition leaders to stick to the bipartisan approach, affirming that parliament was the right place to handle their concerns.
Umefanya vizuri kuongea na wale jamaa waende bunge, lakini mambo ya handshake hawa wamekataa. Mumekataa.
However, according to Gachagua, it is unfortunate that the Azimio team are threatening to go back to the streets despite being provided with a better way to handle their concerns. According to the DP, the government is prepared to protect public and private properties in case the demonstrations resume.
Najua, Your Excellency, sisi hatutaki wewe kusumbuka. Hawa watu waende waongee na mheshimiwa Kimani Ichung'wa. Huyu rais awachiwe nafasi afanye kazi. Na Your Excellency, nimewaambia hawa wanasema ati watarudi kwa barabara. Kwani barabara kuna pahali zimeenda?
This comes as opposition chief and Azimio leader Raila Odinga fired a warning shot, saying that they will have to go back to demonstrations if President Ruto fails to take them seriously. Edward Nyamo, KUTV, Nairobi.
Right, thank you, Edward Nyamu, for that comprehensive report. Now from Kenya Kwanza to Azimio. The Azimio la Umoja One Kenya opposition party has presented the team that will defend its position during the bipartisan talks with the government. The names of the 7 legislators were arrived at during the Azimio parliamentary group meeting held in Machakos and attended by top Azimio leadership. Kenya Kwanza side is expected to meet and present their 7 members by Tuesday next week.
Last Sunday, President William Ruto emerged with an offer for a bipartisan approach which would see his government engage Raila Odinga's Azimio in parliament. An offer Odinga accepted but threatened to return to the streets should there be a sincerity deficit, as reiterated today by Eugene Wamalwa.
I just wanted to caution that we are only on a commercial break. We have just taken a stop in a journey.
Today, Azimio retreated to Stony Athi, Manzoni, Machakos County to strategize on how to approach the olive branch extended to them by Ruto. The convention settled on 7 legislators to face off with Kenya Kwanza's 7 negotiators in the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee, which will have 14 members. Azimio's best 7 include Narok's Ledama Olekina, Nairobi's Edwin Sifuna, Kitui's Enoch Wambua, and MPs Millie Odhiambo, Amina Mnyazi, David Kosing, and Otiende Amolo. In the negotiation, Azimio will be pushing for lowering of cost of living, non-negotiable forensic audit of IEBC servers, review of appointment and dismissal of IEBC commissioners, IEBC reforms including proposal to devolve its operations, and instituting safeguards for free and fair elections. Azimio also wants reinstatement of Cherera 4. The team wants fidelity to one's party to be reinforced by forcing rebel MPs back to the ballot and parties to have powers to replace indisciplined nominated MPs.
We go into these negotiations holding a firm belief that our cause is just, our intentions are pure, and our goal is patriotic. We go into these talks convinced that some issues, in particular, lowering the price of food, is urgent, can't wait, and does not even need the talks.
So we are talking of a process in neutral grounds, parliamentarians negotiating neutral grounds, and behind them will be the two sides.
Azimio blamed police for ugly scenes that dotted their demonstrations.
The brutality we show against the media, free media, cannot really go uncondemned. An attempt was made to say, oh, we believe in the freedom of the media. 25 of them were hurt and some are still in hospital.
President Ruto's hardliners are already accusing Odinga of shifting goalposts, and it remains to be seen how long the Raila Ruto truce will last. Dennis Omondi reporting for KUTV.
Now, away from politics, something really sick is happening in the society. A teacher at Bundugusi Primary School in Kamere Ward, Manga Sub-County in Nyamira County has allegedly caned people, leaving him with injuries in his private part, leading to a surgical operation and subsequent hospitalization. The Standard 8 learner has reportedly, I beg your pardon, undergone a removal surgery for the testicles that was severed. The said teacher is yet to face the law.
Gladys Mongina, the learner's mother, narrated how one of the teachers descended upon her son with strokes of the cane after he allegedly hurled insults at another pupil. The boy was left injured in the process. His mother now claims that the school administration became uncooperative when the family sought explanation on their son's beating and instead urged them to take him for treatment.
Alikuja tu akaniambia ati amepigwa hapa sehemu saa siri. Sasa hapa sehemu saa siri alikuwa anafura, mtoto hakuwa anatembea vizuri.
The pupil grandfather and grandmother Cyrus and Mora Mugambi condemned the attack by the teacher on the learner and petitioned the authorities to ensure justice is served.
Tunahuzunika vile mnaangalia hii umuchi haki hakuna kitu. Tuko na huzuni.
Sasa kilio yetu tunataka mtoto afanyiwe haki yake na serikali.
Police from Manga Police Station have already visited the pupil at Busonga Hospital and recorded a statement. The health facilities management, however, declined to comment on the patient's condition. This comes shortly on the heels of another incident in Burabu County, where corporal punishment was administered on another pupil by his teacher, maiming him in the process. In yet another incident from one student from Chimase Secondary School in Tinderet Sub-County in Nandi County, died after being beaten in turns by two teachers at the institution amid claims that he was caught cheating in the midterm examinations. Wilson Tobiko, KU TV.
Kenyans have been encouraged to embrace water harvesting during the rainy season to save them from hardship in the coming dry season. The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Water and Sanitation, Paul Rono, who was speaking during a county engagement workshop with stakeholders held in Mombasa, emphasized the need, saying that lack of water during the dry season can be minimized.
Following the devastating drought that was experienced in various parts of the country, Kenyans have now been asked to focus on harvesting rainwater as the rainy season continues. While speaking during a county engagement workshop with stakeholders in Mombasa, the Principal Secretary for Water and Sanitation, Paul Rono, emphasized the need to embrace such practices, as he says it will be beneficial during the hard times which are in the pipeline.
So, as county government and national government, we need to speak to that space. And you know, water is also devolved. There's an area whereby the county government you need to handshake and handle the water harvesting mechanism, like small water pans and also and small dams. We can really harvest this water for all of us. So that next year, we are not crying.
According to Paul Rono, it is estimated that only 15% of households in the country are connected to water. The government says it is putting measures in place to increase the number of households connected to water to 70% in the next year. PS Rono has also encouraged county governments to embrace the Maji Nyumbani program, as he says it will go a long way in ensuring all households based in rural areas are able to easily access water.
The current statistics shows that we have only connected 2 million households out of 12.5 million households. That is around 15%. We want to move that number to 70%.
The PS has also revealed that plans are underway to stop illegal water connections, and arrests will be affected targeting persons responsible for illegal water connections. Yvonne Kemuma, KU TV.
Right, the national government through the Ministry of Arid and Semi-Arid Lands and the National Drought Management Authority has launched the fourth phase of relief food distribution in Nyandarua and Laikipia counties. Leaders present at the launch stressed the need for the government to ensure that all families affected by hunger benefit from the food aid.
At least 768 families from OMONDI ward in Laikipia County have every reason to put on a smile after benefiting from food aid courtesy of the national government. Laikipia Deputy County Commissioner Patrick Molly says that families that were targeted in this round of the food aid are those that had been affected greatly by the pangs of hunger and needed emergency interventions.
Na niseme ya kwamba wale ambao walichaguliwa ni wale ambao tuliona wamekuwa hawana chochote. Kuna ile kriteria tumika kwa sababu hii chakula ingetosheleza kila mmoja, na tukasema tutumie kriteria kwamba ni ile familia tunaona imefinyika sana kwa upande wa njaa.
The National Drought Management Authority Laikipia County Coordinator Golicha Guyo singled out Mukogodo East and West areas as those that have been affected the most. The beneficiaries received bags of rice, maize flour, and packets of porridge.
Laikipia is one of the counties that was affected drastically by the drought, and currently the county has received some rains, but still the need for food is still there.
Locals who received the aid were grateful to the government for the initiative.
Tuko na miaka 4 hatujafuna kitu chochote kwa chapa. Mifugo imekufa, watoto wako na njaa.
Na haijatosha sababu ujue hiyo miaka tumekaa miaka 4 na miaka 4 hatujapata yoyote.
Despite the government's efforts to make Kenya food secure, the population is growing at faster pace, frustrating strategies aimed at ensuring that Kenyans have enough to put in their stomachs. Israel Omai, KUTV.
Right, that's a good note to take our first break here on KUTV Primetime News. Of course, we have much and more to come up after this short break, including our exclusive interview with one and only OMONDI. See you in a bit.
Access their rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
People pass vuguvugu. People pass ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na uasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni dunia ni leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Baada ya kutafuta kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi hawana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili
bila uoga. Watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi, hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Chuo Kikuu cha Kenyatta Bewa la Kitui kinajitolea kuimarisha na kumpa mwanafunzi wake maarifa ya juu ya ufugaji wa sungura, kwani wakulima wengi wanajiingiza katika ufugaji huu.
Uzuri wa sungura unaweza lisha kama pets na pia kwa biashara.
Ni muhimu sana mbuzi kuwekewa alama ili mkulima aweze kumtambua kwa urahisi, haswa kwa wazalishaji wakubwa wa mbuzi ambao wanapenda kutunza kumbukumbu za wanyama wao bora.
Right, welcome, and of course thank you for always choosing to stay with us. And now that big interview that we were all waiting for has finally arrived. He has been on the spotlight for his anti-government protest, a move that has continued to elicit sharp criticism from a section of Kenyans who thinks that this is one cloud too many from the comedian, from marching to State House with a cart full of CVs to staging protest outside Parliament with shirtless, muscular men to synonymous arrests. What is he up to? To help us dissect this, the man himself, comedian Eric OMONDI, is in the house. Thank you so much for always making time, of course.
Asante.
Well, quite a lot of issues, and of course one of them from cart full of CVs, arrests, men with muscular, and of course protesting outside Parliament. What is going on?
Things are not okay.
Okay.
And someone has to speak up. Someone has to be the voice, and that person is Eric OMONDI.
All right.
I think every Kenyan agrees with me when I say that things are very hard.
Okay.
Life has become very expensive, and so someone has to speak up.
All right.
And so I'm speaking up.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let me quote a tweet that I actually from your Instagram.
Yes.
We are going to break free from the chains of slavery, political, economic slavery, and of course, brainwashing.
Yes.
Are you some sort of leading a revolution?
It's a revolution.
All right.
And there are very many types of revolutions. But and this particular one doesn't have to go far if the government acts. Because you see, so far it's just Eric Omondi. But if it keeps on going on, it will gather momentum, and then it can turn into something else. We've seen this has happened. It has been done before. Well, it's not something new. And I feel like we are in economic slavery for the longest time. And we're not fighting a person. We're fighting a system that has been there since independence, where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. You understand? And so we want to break that chain. And we want to be able to prepare a Kenya for new generations, for our children, where fairness is the order of the day, where things are distributed equally. Yeah. Currently, there's so much going on. We've had moments where people were saying unga ni iko juu. Then we've had times when people say stima iko juu. Then we've had times when people say mafuta iko juu. But we've never had a time when they were all juu.
Okay.
You get mafuta juu, stima juu, unga juu. Rent iko juu. Na help hakuna. School fees iko juu.
All right. You have spoken to my curiosity, and of course, a lot of things has been happening. Of course, the price of unga being high, the high cost of living, all that in between. But the timing is quite a bit interesting. Why now?
Because now is the time.
All right.
Now is the time.
Okay.
Not tomorrow. It's an emergency. It's urgent. Families are going without food. Children are sleeping hungry, going to days. So this is an emergency. And when you wake up and see the government allocating 802 million for cars for Mudavadi and Rigathi and the president, 802 million, while people are going hungry, while they tell us on the same day that there's no help for students, then this is the time. When they give money for cars and there's no help, that's the time we talk. Tomorrow might be a bit too late, so it has to be handled today. Because hunger does not care whether you have money or not. When you feel hungry, it demands for food. Hunger does not respect tribe or party. Hunger does not only go to Azimio or UDA. It goes to every person that has a stomach. So I feel like it's an emergency, it's urgent, it has to be handled now. And so the time is now.
You spoke about the existing issues, of course, that need to be addressed.
Yes.
But one may ask, how do you plan, of course, to solve this? Because at the end of the day, problems are there. And one of your aim is to make sure that you see the cost of unga coming down. Of course, the cost of living. But what is the plan?
The plan is very simple. You saw this Azimio people together with the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. They were demonstrating the other day. Are they demonstrating now? No. Because apparently, somehow, there's a bipartisan mission going on to solve those issues. So we're going to call upon Kenyans to demonstrate for 14 days non-stop. Yes. So that's how we're going to get, because we've discovered, there's a formula. When you demonstrate, you are listened to. That's the formula we're going to follow. We make sure there is no life does not continue as usual.
All right.
Yes.
Well, when you talk about when you demonstrate, you are listened to. Of course, the president extended olive branch to Azimio leader Raila Odinga, or to be fair, the Azimio team. And one of the things was to look at the contentious issues that need to be addressed. Well, you have issues that are very pertinent in this fight, in this struggle. One may ask, why wouldn't you, face the president, have a discussion, and of course see the way forward? What is making you so?
I cannot face the president because it will become political.
All right.
You, together with every other Kenyan, will throw insults at me. Huyu is selfish, huwa anajitafutia. Waliongea nini na Ruto? So these are things I have to shout on the streets. And we're going to be calling an audience with the president, not to me. But I want to call upon youths, I want to call upon women, mama mbogas, border borders. I want to call upon citizens, so that we meet the president at a stadium somewhere. Could be Kasarani, it could be Nyayo. All of us together. So me, I'm not seeking an audience with the president. I do not have to. If the president is listening, he just needs to. If tomorrow he wakes up and says Unga is 100 bob, I don't need to meet the president. Because we're meeting the president. For what reason? If electricity goes down, then I'm good.
Well, you have raised a very important question that many have been asking, of course. Are you a comedian or an activist?
I have been a comedian for 16 years. 16 years. I repeat that. I've made people laugh for 16 years. I am 41 years old. So it is no longer a laughing matter. I don't see anything to smile about. I've made people laugh for 16 years. But then, how will history judge me? So I made people happy. But what is that one thing I did to help? Kenyans have supported me. When have I ever supported Kenyans? Kenyans have come to my shows. They've bought my shows. What is that one thing that I've done? Have I ever given back to Kenyans? I'm the most followed citizen in this country. I have a platform that is God-given. Have I used that platform to champion for any cause in this country? No. So this is the time. Comedy back. 16 years is a lot of years. It's enough. Enough is enough. Now it's time for legacy.
Just for the record.
Yes.
Now, it's not all about comedy now.
No. It's not clout. It is not attention seeking. It is not comedy. It is people's lives and people's livelihood. It's about children who are going hungry and houses that are being closed and students without school fees.
We'll talk about that later on. Let's talk about the issue that you raised about demonstration for 14 days non-stop. How are you planning to do that?
I cannot tell you that because these people have devised a plan and a plot to weaken me. Because every time I go to the streets, they arrest me. So that is psychologically very tiring. So nikienda Monday wananishika natoka Wednesday. Nikienda Thursday wananishika natoka Friday. So we are coming up. I'm a very creative person. God has gifted me with a lot of creativity. So I'm planning. I will come back and tell you when we're about to do it. So that even if they arrest me, it's still going on. In fact, if they arrest me, they will help not the revolution, the demonstrations.
Now, there is a Public Order Act that guides, demonstration, and one of them, let me read it for you. The act requires any person intending to convene a public assembly to give a place that is a place of demonstration, that demonstration will be happening between 3 to 14 days. That's how it is. Have you issued?
I used to do that nonsense. I no longer do it. It doesn't work. They don't stamp it, they don't receive it, they don't accept it, and it is our constitutional right. So I no longer do that nonsense. If they are going to break the law, we are going to break the law together. When you go to ask for permission, they will scrutinize and then they will deny. So as a Kenyan, I wake up and I do, so long as I'm within the presence of the law. And a good example is myself. Why do they arrest me, Evans? Evans, why do they arrest me? I'm always alone.
You tell me.
Exactly. I have the right to the freedom of association. I have the right to picket and the right to demonstrate. When I'm walking on the streets with Mkokoteni, you could as well stop me and question me, but why are you arresting me? What have I done?
Now,
I've not spoiled any property.
For the objectivity, of course, one of the claim, and I'll call them claim, because you have your own say and they have theirs, was the disturbance. Of course, they were claimed that you, of course, erected some barricades that were already imposed on the road.
Yes, so we're going to block as many roads as possible. We're going to disturb the city. We're going to, people are suffering. And there's a law saying that says a hungry man has no shame. So the things that people are going through are worse than a road that is blocked. How many roads are in this city? If you block Kenyatta Avenue, use Moi Avenue. Yeah. So if that is, you see, if a 2-month-old child is hungry, they cannot talk. So what do? They create a disturbance.
All right.
Then the parents like, they demonstrate, right, so that they get attention of the parent. So we're trying to get attention of our parent, which is the government, and the government just needs to listen.
All right.
People are crying. We are children. When a child comes to you crying, you do not beat them. You listen to them, and you're asking the government to listen to the cry of the people and the voice of the people.
Right.
So do not antagonize the people, but listen to the people. But if they don't listen to us, we have to shout, unfortunately, because Raila is no longer on the streets. He's being listened to, and they're doing a bipartisan thing on electoral reforms, which I totally support, because it will help us in the future. So we are children who are crying. We are hungry. We are like a 2-month-old baby. So mtoto akilia huwezi anza kumpiga. So that's what the government is doing. We are crying and they're beating us.
Well, you talk about, crying, all these things. Do you think at the end of the day, the government will listen to you?
Yes, they have to listen. And Evans, it gets very dangerous, yeah? When these voices get louder. When I started my first demonstration, I was alone. The second one, I was with the people who I called my friends, bouncers. You remember them? The last one, did you see the last one?
Yeah, I saw them.
Did you see the people who gathered there? I don't know who they are, but I know they're Kenyans. I didn't call even a single one of them. There were over around 350 people within 5 minutes. You understand? So I would advise the government to just listen.
Okay.
No, if your child is crying, why don't you just say ni ni? Then they tell you tumbo inaniuma. So this African thing of mtoto akilia ni kiboko, akigonga nini na bleed kiboko. Listen. The government needs to listen. What is Eric saying? Eric, they've never gone and said, Eric, they always ready with the handcuff and the tear gas. Nobody has ever told me, Eric, kuja hapa, ni nini mbaya?
Well, you are known to be a comedian.
Yes.
And of course, in recent past, so many things have happened. And some might, not take you too serious on this one. And for instance, when you demonstrated outside Parliament, of course, with well-built men, what was the message and why well-built men?
The message was, many people said if the message was price of unga and people are starving, why then go with people who don't look like they're starving? Because we do not want to go to Turkana. We are fighting for those people. We don't want to make them suffer more. I don't want to go to Turkana and carry people who are starving and bring them to Parliament in the scorching sun on that hot tarmac. But the message was the strength is to the youth and wisdom to the old.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if the old don't use their wisdom to listen, then the youth will lose their strength.
Okay.
So we're just showing the viciousness and strength of the youth.
All right.
Yes.
Well, about the recent one, and this was funny, if you ask me.
Yes.
You claiming to commit suicide.
Yes.
How was that? How did you think of such a thing?
I was not claiming, just that the Nini disappointed me. The rope was too long. The rope was too long and it was not tight enough. But I think this nation needs a trigger. It does. So that people realize the grave seriousness of what's going on in the backyard. I walk on the streets and people meet me and talk to me. People send me messages through Facebook and even Instagram and even on my WhatsApp. And the stories are sad.
Okay.
The stories are sad. There are kids who've gone without food for 2 days.
Okay.
And the mother doesn't know what will happen to the third day. And the mother is a hawker who was arrested in town. A woman who makes 500 per day, arrested while selling njugus, these groundnuts, and charged 10,000. A woman who makes 500 charged 10,000. So she goes to Langata. That's why I've been going to these prisons, kutoa watu. So this woman, who will talk on her behalf? We need to be so loud because there's a lot of politics and politicking going on. And that's why I'm telling you, this generation needs to start thinking of a takeover in the next 5 or 10 years. Because this generation of, there was the independence generation, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Jomo Kenyatta, Chinga Neko, you know, they built that Kagia. That was the independence generation. Then from 1978, from Moi, Kibaki, Kalonzo, Matakarua, Uhuru, this new generation. When we talk 1978, mpaka leo, but they're doing their last lap. But we cannot do the same things they did. And expect anything different. So if there's any young person who's watching here, we're going to start a campaign to uproot these guys from parliament, to uproot these guys from the MCA to the president. We're bringing a new generation.
Yes. You have brought a very important aspect to this discussion. And of course, the role of youth, of course, in leadership.
Yes.
In this parliament, of course, we have seen a lot of youth in parliament, of course, some legislator. It is a good thing. But if I were to ask you, do you think they have really, live up to the expectation?
Not at all. They have not. A few have. The likes of Babu are really trying because they're vocal on the issues. And he has been ever since he was a student leader. Any parliamentarian who is not vocal on the issues of Kenyans, we are seeing you. And they're going to vote you out.
If majority of youths, at least now they can, proudly say they have some sort of representation in the parliament and they are not doing their work, then why advocate for the same youths who will go there and of course sleep on the job?
I thank you so much for that question. It's very important. We are going to raise a new crop, a new generation of leadership that is awake and conscious to the past mistakes of corruption, of unfairness, and of politics. We are going to raise our awareness and we're going to raise a woke generation that understands why Kenya is where it is. So we have time. This is 2023. We have 4 years to recruit, to train, to establish what is wrong and what needs to be right. So we're not just going to be having youths in the parliament. We're going to call upon youths and tell them from MCA, we're going to come up with a party or a movement, whatever you want to call it, a revolutionary movement that recruits new leadership with an agenda to change this nation. And Kenya will be the first country that will come away from the shackles, the third world. You don't have to be a third world just because you're in Africa. You see what Rwanda is doing. So these are young people who have been trained. We're going to train ourselves. We're going to study, understand the root causes of corruption, the root causes of nepotism, the root causes of all our problems, and then there are going to be solutions to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You have big dreams, if I may say that.
Yes.
But the problem is, who will, of course, steer ahead all this?
I will.
You are the man.
I will carry the vision.
Another question: who is sponsoring all this? Because it requires input.
Yes, but I don't need a sponsor. What have I done for the past 1 month? I had a mkokoteni. How much is a mkokoteni to hire? It's 1,000 bob. Juzi nilikuwa najinyonga pale. How much is a rope? I don't want people keep talking about who's sponsoring. Does it OMONDI need a sponsor to get 1,000 bob, get a mkokoteni? You've not seen with a crowd of 6,000 people. Our demonstrations are very creative. I only need 5K or less to do what I do. Why would I need a politician or a billionaire to sponsor what? That time will come and we won't need a sponsor. The youth will unite, will come together, and we'll raise our own finances or whatever it's called, resources. Yeah. So nobody is sponsoring Eric. because Eric does not need sponsoring.
Okay.
I don't need to hire a stadium. I don't need sound. I just need God to give me life and strength and health. So I need to clear that. Nobody sponsors me, and I do not need a sponsor.
Well, let's talk about very key aspect as far as, transformation and of course, uplifting, the healing process, everything. If you want, of course, the economy to improve, you have to start from somewhere. You have claims, genuine claims. Kenyans are hurting. Economy is hurting. We want change. Children want to go to school. Students want their help loans, of course. But there is someone in power, and this is now the negotiation table where it comes.
Yes.
Do you think dialogue, of course, can bring some sort of solution out of this problem?
Yes. First of all, I need to clarify. We are not fighting a person. Us.
You're fighting
or me. We're not fighting William Samoei Ruto.
You're fighting.
President. We're fighting a system.
And who is the system?
So every time we have an election and we have a new president, our problems persist or get worse. So Ruto will lose 5 or 10 years.
Okay.
The next guy who will come, the problem will persist or get worse.
Okay.
So we're not fighting Ruto, but we are asking Ruto, because he's a man of God, that perhaps he could be used by God to change the system. So he needs to listen to us. So we tell him, we think here and here are where the problems. A very good example, we have very basic logical solutions that the president just needs to listen. Right now, we have 2.3 more unemployed Kenyans. More. Now 67% of Kenyans are unemployed. We have a solution. Do you know that as I'm speaking to you right now, we have 55 million Kenyans, yeah? Do you know there are people who are unemployed and the employees were looking for people to employ, but they don't know. Within Nairobi, within KU, kuna mtu anatafuta mama wa nyumba. Na kuna mama wa nyumba anatafuta kazi ya nyumba. So we just need to create a system where people are looking for jobs, to meet people who have jobs, for example. And these are things that the government can help us create. That's just a basic one. You understand? So we're not fighting a person. We're fighting a system that even Ruto himself found there. But now we are shouting and calling for his attention because he can change it. He's the president.
He's the president. And who controls the system?
Yeah?
Who controls
He's the president who's responsible for this country.
So is the system.
Yeah?
Who is the system?
So, I get your point. He can change the system.
Okay.
Because in a way, he is the system.
All right.
Yes.
Well, you have some good ideas, especially the one that you have talked about, Mama Fua, and of course, Mama looking for house help. Why don't you present this noble and good initiative, of course, to the government and tell them, hey, there is existing problem and we have solution, instead of going to the streets?
They won't listen. They will not.
Have you tried?
Bro, they have been here for 41 years. They will never, ever listen. They are busy and they have no time. And they have other agendas and things that are important. I'm telling you, the same day we were told that 802 million was released for cars, is the same afternoon we were told help is broke. Same day. Evans, they will never listen. Erika uko hapa nje. You will not even get that appointment. They will not give you that appointment. They are busy. They are preoccupied. I told you, the only way that a kid gets the attention of the parent is to demonstrate. Pale tuko bedroom. Ni nini? Ni nini na mtoto? Mama Jane, ni nini? Kwa nini tumbo? Nimempatia maziwa kunywi. Si njaa. Napelekwa hosi.
Okay.
So
even as we wind up,
yes.
Recently, of course, you have been complaining about unfair treatment from police, and of course, you said when you demonstrate, you got arrested, and of course, when the AUMA, they are not arrested. Do you think the police or even the system that you call is unfairly treating you?
Yes, I don't know why Evans I get arrested. I wish you come to one of those demonstrations that I hold. There is entirely no reason why the police arrest me. And every time they arrest me, it takes them 12 hours, 9 to 12 hours, trying to figure out what to charge me with. And I'm requesting the police, enough, don't arrest me again. It's unnecessary. Why are you tear gassing Eric Omondi? Why are you wasting the tear gas? So, what was in you? I'm so harmless. And I want to call upon the police, the IG, to look into that matter. I am a Kenyan, and I picket or demonstrate very creatively. There has never been a property that was destroyed when I was doing that. But a young man was knocked down by a car, and his leg broken, juicy, because of the police. Because they lobbed some tear gas. They started chasing and beating people. And then a guy was knocked by a car. We had to call an ambulance. His leg is broken at Kenyatta National. So I blame the police. So next time when you see me, and then just come and let's talk. Don't usifike once a vita.
Of course, I want you to merge two things because we are running out of time.
Yes.
One of them is, of course, the distribution of unga, and this begs the question: are you eyeing any, political office in the near future?
You see, the act of giving someone unga is just being a good citizen, a good brother or sister. I have unga, you don't have unga. And it's an African thing. Okay? Si wambana chumvi. Kwa jirani.
Okay.
Ama mafuta. Ukipika ugali na unga maji imezidi unga. And it's 10 in the night. You go ask your neighbor. So we are a communal people as Africans. So I don't know when it became a crime to help each other. Yeah? I don't know why it became a crime to help each other. Concerning politics, I don't know. As I sit here, politicians have failed me big time over the decades since 1963, and most, if not all, of our problems are caused or created by politicians. Sometimes I think about it, but with good reason, because I've been to the parliament buildings a million times. I've been there fighting for Kenyan artists. I've taken a motion there. There's a bill in parliament. But every time I leave or I get arrested, no parliamentarian pushes that agenda. So sometimes I go there and I get tear gassed and I call my friends in. I'm like, bro, what's happening? It's been a year, mazi. Simpitisha hii kitu. Nasikia wampitia something else. So sometimes I think about it. Because sometimes I realize that I can only affect the change, or the vision of the change, or the dream that I have from within. Because for how long will I be tear gassed outside parliament? If I believe that parliament has the solution, and I have the passion and the vision, then I need to change my tactic. So sometimes I think about it. But for now, we are not thinking politics. We are thinking solutions that will help Kenyans.
All right. Well, Eric Omondi, thank you so much for making time to speak to KUTV Primetime. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll be taking a short break, and of course, when we come back, it's Sporty Action. Right, welcome back, and let's jump direct to Sporty Action. Preparation for the famous Benjamin Ayimba Legacy Tournament in the memory of the late Benjamin Ayimba, who was the coach of the national rugby team in the country, have been completed in Machakos County. The competition will start tomorrow on Friday and end on Sunday, according to the annual organizer, Quick Nyakwaka. The 22 teams, including 16 teams of men's side and 6 on women's side, will participate this competition that will be held in Kenyatta Stadium. Nyakwach has said security has been enhanced to deal with the indiscipline cases around the stadium. Now, switching gears to some international action, Frank Lampard is set to return for a second spell in charge of Chelsea on an interim basis until the end of season. Lampard, who was sacked earlier this season by the Everton, was dismissed by Chelsea in 2021 after 18 months in charge. Chelsea sacked Graham Potter on Sunday after a disastrous run of form that left the club 11th in the Premier League despite spending over $623 million. The new players in their first season under the new owner Todd Boehly sacked Bayern Munich boss Julian Nagelsmann and former Barcelona coach Luis Enrique are among the leading candidates to be appointed Chelsea's next permanent manager. Right, that's a wrap here on KUTV Primetime News. Many thanks, of course, for tuning in. My name is AUMA Evans. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Evans ODHIAMBO. Until next time, bye-bye for now, and do have a lovely night.
This program is rated 16. The content is restricted to only those above 16 years.